So something incredibly earth-shattering and unbelievable has happened. Pokemon is actually trying to release a good game, with Pokemon Winds and Waves. They dropped the official gameplay footage as well as confirmed leaks, and dude, it actually looks like it's gonna be a great game. After Pokemon Legends ZA, I was like, yeah, they have completely given up. But when they dropped the gameplay footage for Pokemon Winds and Waves and some leaks, I was like, damn, they are actually trying. So let's check it out. So just that trailer was enough for me to be like, okay, I'm actually excited about this game. Super cinematic, but it's just the environments, right? That's what we have been lacking in previous games. Not only just environments, but like textured environments. Pokemon Legends ZA was essentially just copy and paste buildings that you can't even go into, and basic Pokemon and wild zones. It was just terrible. Just awful. It seems that this is more of like an open world experience, which for me is pretty exciting, dude. You know, they're bringing back caves and forests and beaches and snow environments. They're being pretty like quiet about legendaries, which is really exciting. But what got me wasn't just a trailer, but we can get into the leaks now and actually see like, okay, what is this game going to include? But you know how Pokemon can be, they can drop a trailer and then it's actually nothing like that. So let's kind of get into what some of the confirmed leaks are. So this is from Vice.com, and it kind of outlines some really cool things. It even tells you it is like Southeast Asia inspired, which for me is actually pretty exciting. It explains why there's that super tropical vibe. But it does get in pretty in depth in like the layout of the actual environment that you're stepping into. The one unfortunate thing is this game was set to like drop in 2026, but now it's being delayed until 2027. So it is what it is, but hopefully it just means that they're putting more time into actually creating an amazing Pokemon game for the die-hard fans like myself. Pokemon Gen 10 region leak confirmed, Southeast Asia archipelago setting, which is actually pretty cool. The map is an archipelago of islands surrounded by water. That has been confirmed. Gen 10 region is inspired by Indonesia and Southeast Asia. It has diverse biomes, which is snow, tropical, lava, etc., and that has been confirmed. Dude, I'm excited for like a lava cave vibe, dude. Right? You remember like the OG Pokemon games, man? You know, you hop yourself into a cave, next thing you know, you find a Magmar, and you were just so excited, man. It features an underwater map, which is confirmed, which is awesome because that means they're bringing back the dive aspect, which I thought was really cool. But I think like the older games, they didn't capitalize on it enough, man. Like dive, I thought was a really cool feature of the game. It has 17 islands to explore, including one uninhabited island and an underwater ocean map. Dude, that is all 17 islands, man. That actually seems like That seems like pretty big. Hopefully they're diverse islands, right? It's not just copy and pasted islands, because that is going to be completely unfortunate, dude. And maybe hopefully they're bigger. That's like the one thing that I've noticed with a lot of the Pokemon games is the games are just so quick. You know, you spend like $60 on a Pokemon game and you're through it in 7-8 hours. Especially with the newer games. The older games were a little harder on Game Boy, but hopefully 17 Islands gives you enough time where you can actually get your $60 worth out of it. The structure is closer to an open world and MMO than traditional linear routes. That's kind of exciting. I mean, I do like the structured avenue of Pokemon. It helps out a little bit. Open world kind of reminds me of like Skyrim. You know, when you just start out, you're a noob, and next thing you know, like 30 minutes into the game, come across a snow troll and get absolutely decimated. But you keep fighting it because you don't realize that you're just not supposed to fight it yet. Go a different way. Gen 10 gym type leaks. And here are the reported islands. Which is actually pretty cool that they're sticking with the gym situation. I mean, that's the one thing with Pokemon Legends EA was the gym setup, or the setup in general, was just so lazy. I mean, just so lazy. I really miss like going to different towns and fighting a gym, going to a different town and fighting a gym, and I really miss when the gyms were actually hard, where you used to have to grind and choose the right Pokemon to actually complete the gym. I don't want to show up to a gym, you know, and then have to answer just 2 questions and then fight a weak boss. No, I want to go to a gym and I want to fight like 11 grunts, and half those grunts are actually kind of difficult, and then get decimated by a gym leader, so it actually makes me play the game. So Island 1's grass type, Island 2 is poison, Island 6 is flying, Island 7 is fighting, Island 8 is dark type, Island 9 is normal, Island 11 is steel, Island 14 is fairy. It's actually interesting. I guess like they have islands in between the gym, so that you actually get time to grind up your Pokemon, which, I don't know, that sounds pretty cool. Sounds like they're putting thought into the structure here. Pokemon Winds and Waves story leaks. Players will stay at a hotel island hub. That has been confirmed. It will have a theme about nature as a living system built around Pokemon and humans living together. It's going to have a strong emphasis on weather systems, wind, sea, and natural phenomena. That's been confirmed. The main character is a 13-year-old child from a major city. The protagonist travels with their mother to the game's island map on vacation. Well, that's kind of different. Most Pokemon games, your parents just kind of send you away. Just like a 9-year-old kid getting kicked out of his home, and now you're just traipsing the countryside hoping you don't get abducted. So that's a nice little safety feature. The Pokemon Winds and Waves rival is a friend we met who lives on the resort island. The big villain of the game is the hotel chairman. He's a complex character with a tragic backstory. Wow, they're making that seem dark, man. I'm actually glad they're bringing back, like, the rival system. I mean, even in, like, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and, like, Legends, like, your villains were just supportive best friends, right? Like, they're not saying anything rude to you. They're just motivating you in a positive aspect, which is kind of weak, man. I remember the rivals in, like, Red or, like, you know, their early Game Boy games, man, where they were just saying terrible stuff. Like, man, you were terrible. You're a terrible trainer. You're never gonna beat me. More realistic. Antagonists are reportedly a construction group who are tearing down the island for profit. The company is run by the hotel chairman. That seems right. It looks like they're trying to incorporate like real world situations, right? Like we're gonna be more like nature themed, like right, humans and nature living side by side, and the main enemy is trying to destroy nature. Based. Pokemon Winds and Waves battle gimmick leak. What is Majin? I don't know. The main Pokemon Winds and Waves battle gimmick is reportedly called Majin. It's rumored to be linked to the weather-based move/effects. Reported Majin types: Fire Majin, Ice Majin, Ground Majin, Rock Majin, and Psychic Majin. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what a Majin could be, but I mean, I guess that's good, right? Leave it to be like a surprise, which is always nice with games. I assume maybe it's like a Mega Evolution, or like a secret power based around, you know, these types. I don't know, but we're gonna find out. Additional gameplay leaks include exploration-driven gameplay across islands and open environments. That is what I'm talking about, dude. A real complex and textured environment. Something completely lacking with Pokemon Legends EA. I mean, we had Pokemon Arceus, and that was cool. That was open map. I wasn't a huge fan just because of the different Pokemon and some of the mechanics. Like, I really enjoyed like the turn-based fighting mechanics. But then, you know, they came up with Legends EA, and it was just terrible. I bought it, of course. but just a terrible, terrible game. Players will use a hoverboard scooter to travel around the island. Okay, Marty McFly, that's wild. The scooter can be linked to any Pokemon and transformed to their abilities. So the hoverboard will reportedly allow you to swim underwater or eventually fly. I guess that's kind of cool. I did like the fact where you had to have a team of certain Pokemon so you can actually like fly or swim or dive. Kind of wish they would bring that back. Traditional gyms are replaced with a broad system of adventures. These include battles, environmental challenges, missions, survival activities, traversal unlocks, raids, and more. There are 18 adventures in the main story. That's a little scary. That could definitely speed up the gameplay. It really depends, man. Like, if I get into a gym and, like I said, I have to answer 2 basic questions and fight a weak boss, I'm gonna be pretty pissed off. If you're talking survival missions, you know, I mean, you better put me out in the woods for 7 hours and I gotta figure out some survival activities. I then fight a bunch of people, man. Like, I want Pokemon games to go back to being, like, slightly difficult for me. I think most of the Pokemon fans, they just want to get their money's worth out of the game. They don't want to spend $60, and next thing you know, they beat it in 2 days. Pokemon Winds and Waves Box Legendaries Leak Breakdown. Pokemon Winds Legendary Storm. An Elder Guardian figure residing on an isolated storm-covered island. It guides humans and Pokemon through the power of wind and accepts only those who have properly raised their seed Pokemon. The Pokemon Waves Legendary Water. A counterpart Elder figure living on a remote island surrounded by powerful seas. It embodies balance and guidance through the force of waves, and similarly judges the worthiness of the player. That sounds pretty tough. Are the Pokemon Winds and Waves leaks legit? Yes, most of the Pokemon Winds and Waves leaks are legitimate. A vast majority of them come from the leaked documents from a security breach Game Freak faced back in 2024. That is wild. Thank you, cyber criminals. These were known as the Terra leaks. A lot of Pokemon Gen 10 leaks that have come from it have since been proven true. However, it should be pointed out that most of these leaks are based on an early build of the Pokemon Winds and Waves. As such, many features and ideas can be changed. For example, there was reportedly going to be a procedurally generated island feature that has reportedly been scraped in the final version of the game. You know, I actually read about that. Essentially, the island was going to be procedurally generated, but the generation was also based off on how you raised your starter, or what they're now calling a seed Pokemon. So apparently, at least one of the early leaks said that you can train or raise your starter Pokemon in different ways, which will physically make them look different and make them have like certain abilities. So your seed Pokemon will look different than other seed Pokemon, even if it was the same Pokemon. But I guess they got rid of that generation aspect, and I hope they didn't get rid of like the changing seed Pokemon based on raising it, because that was actually a pretty cool aspect in my opinion. While the Pokemon Winds and Waves trailer has confirmed many of these leaks, the majority of the leaked info in this article is still rumored and speculative. They do have a good chance of being true, given it came from the same source that has since had many of its details proven accurate. Still, it's always best to take things with a grain of salt. You'll go through like all these YouTube videos, man, and it's all like these leaks and gameplay released, and it's really just a complex mix of information, right? Like a lot of it's contradictory. Some people say it has this and some people say it doesn't have this. I think at the most part, nobody really knows. We're just at the mercy of like these Terra leaks, and at the mercy of what Game Freak actually wants to tell us or tease us with it, outside of like the actual trailers. I'm excited. It seems like this is the first game in a while that Pokemon has really tried to make a good game. I was very disappointed with Pokemon Legends ZA. I almost like just completely stepped away from the franchise because I'm like, yeah, this is not for me anymore. But I don't know, this kind of renewed my faith in Pokemon. Really excited about the dive feature, really excited about the 7 islands, you know, the archipelago style. But yeah, this is essentially all we know. This is essentially all I know. Hope this video got you a little excited about it. Appreciate you guys tapping in, and I'll see you next time.